Hotsy Malone with Vagabond Souls, and this is part 2 of Hotsy's 9 Lives. Life number 2. I moved to Kansas City, Missouri when I was starting my junior year of high school. I was involved in a city-funded theater group called Carnes Theater. So I went to school half a day and then went down to the theater and spent the rest of the day up until about 5 o'clock there. That January 7th, my mom bought me a new car, a Chrysler Newport. She never would buy me a small car, none of the little ones that I thought were so cute and wanted, because she didn't think they were safe. So she would buy me these 2-block long cars that took, forever to try to park, but they were safe. And that year she bought me a Chrysler Newport. It was actually quite a beautiful car. It was like midnight navy with white leather interior, white faux leather top. Anyway, I'd had it for a week, almost to the day, and my friend Effie and I were down at the theater coming home. So I run out of gas on the highway. It's dead of winter, mind you, and I pull over as far as I can. I put my flashers on and I get out of the car and get on my hands and knees, and I'm looking up to try to see where the lever is because I'd never opened the hood of the car. So I see where it is. I squat down, get ready to lift the hood up, and about that time a truck hit the back end of the car, and the insignia front grille section of my car then hit me in the head, and I went flying 7 feet. The car moved 5 feet. Because it was winter, there was snow and ice on the hood, and when it hit, all that kind of shattered, and I thought my friend Effie had come through the window. Meanwhile, she's sitting there, and with the distance that the car moved, she doesn't see me. And she's thinking I'm mowed over, basically. So there was this little moment of both of us kind of like, And then I realized that I've got blood gushing from the top of my head. And I jump up, and I'm running all over the highway, willy-nilly, until somebody stopped me and made me lay down, and then they put pressure on my head, which really hurt. And we waited for the ambulance to come. So the ambulance comes, and evidently I jacked up my ankle as well because they put this blow-up cast on. But the problem was the blow-up cast kept deflating, so it was pretty useless. They put me in the ambulance. They're talking to me the whole time, and I'm talking, and they're attending to my head, and so they get Effie in the ambulance as well, and away we go to the hospital. But they didn't put the siren on. I got no siren whatsoever for this entire situation. We just drove like a Sunday drive to the hospital. So we get in there, and they put me in a room. Effie has called my mom now, and she's jumped into a taxi, and she was like clear downtown, so it was going to take her a little bit of while to get to the hospital. So they are starting to prep me to put the stitches in, and they proceed to give me a Peter Gabriel haircut. Now, any of you who knew Peter Gabriel from the Genesis years would know what I'm talking about, where he had this whole section of his head shaved and then this hair. Well, I had long blonde hair, which was now bloody blonde hair, and a Peter Gabriel haircut. Must be some kind of mistake. Thanks to them shaving half my head, just to put in maybe 3 or 4 stitches. So I'm freaking because there's like a mirror above me, and I can see everything, and I'm like, oh no, and I'm like closing my eyes. So they just kind of put the sheet up over my eyes to try to calm me down a little so I couldn't see what was going on. About that time, enter my mom. She walks into the room, sees me laying there with a sheet, covering my eyes, bloody blonde hair hanging down, and she proceeds to pass out. So now they're running and getting her, in a room and kind of tending to her. They stitch me up and then they send us on our way. They did tell my mom to keep me awake because I likely had a pretty severe concussion. So that scared the crap out of me. I'm sorry. I couldn't go to sleep, and my head hurt and my ankle hurt, and oh yeah, meanwhile they just like wrapped up my ankle. It wasn't broken, thank God. But she's like keeping me awake, and I just wanted to sleep. But I was also incredibly upset because there was going to be a party that night, and I was probably going to have a big chance of making out with Tony from the theater group, who was this really cute guy in our theater class. And so I was so bummed I wasn't going to get to go to the party. And I think I probably was going to lie to my mom and tell her I was staying at Effie's house, so that I could stay out later or even overnight. Yes, I was a hussy. What can I say? So back to the head injury. I go back to school on crutches with the Peter Gabriel hairdo, which I have now, because I couldn't wash my hair, used the precursor to all dry shampoos now called, and it was this powdery stuff you sprayed in your hair and let it dry, and then you brushed your hair out. So now I had bloody, powdery, long blonde hair with a big old bandage on my head, on crutches, and welcome to junior year in a brand new city in a brand new school. So yeah, I was very fortunate. I didn't get mowed over and just ended up with this, stitches up here. But actually, if you look really closely, you can see the insignia of Chrysler Newport. So I carry that with me forever. And that's it. Life number 2. Thanks for watching.